So we swapped over. Relaxing game audio. And go. Right, should start the time for us, and it did. So this is you, for anyone who hasn't. The best time so far. I'm the only runner in this category, and the best time that I've had is 104, an hour and 4 minutes, 18 seconds. But the best segments that I've had, just over an hour. There's a lot of improvement can be made. So we're gonna do one run, and then we'll probably call it a night. I have just enough time to finish a run before I would normally play Dungeons and Dragons, and good chance that it's not gonna happen. It's one of the people's anniversary day. So
I left for the university where I hid away the colour tools I had created. I pray you have found what is left of the ring.
as I said, it's a relatively new category. So far I'm the only one that's run it. Hopefully some other people will run it soon, but an hour and 4 minutes isn't bad. I originally thought an hour and 3 minutes was gonna be about as quick as you could get, but it seems to. That some of my best segments, that's pretty well disproven at this point.
Unquestioned understanding which connects
It's a matter of executing at this point.
seeing blue the same way I see it. Perhaps blue is nothing more than a shade of grey to you. Perhaps everyone in this world sees nothing but shades of grey. Don't you see, Hugh? This is why we're here.
I thought I got through all of the speech bubbles there. You have to hit the button. Cancel out the speech bubbles. So it is 5 speech bubbles, and then you change the color, where it pretty much is giving you a tutorial on how to make things disappear of whatever color you're changing to. The main mechanic to main unique mechanic. So throughout it, you manipulate the colors in order to make things disappear or make things appear. And you know, there's blocks that you push through, like lasers later on, and all sorts of stuff. Colors. But as we go, you have to unlock the 8 different colors, and then you put them all together in order to finish out the puzzles. That's the basics too. So, in all of these, in this category at least, there's none of the major skips. So later on there are lasers, which if you change colors quick enough, you can jump through the lasers. That's not allowed. And then there's death warps, which you can do throughout the game, and that's obviously not allowed in this category either. So like that, because of the way that the boulders are encoded, you can get on top of them as you like to walk across them there. Same here. It. Where if you get it just right, you can stop it, and even that's not a major skip because you would be able to jump over it about a second or two later. Once you get enough space, you call the rounding jump, where you jump away from it and then turn back top of the bowl. But that full level goes down about 3 or 4 times. There's a couple of spikes that you have to jump over. We'll be a little bit slow. Oh, maybe not. I guess we're a little bit ahead. The middle of that PB run, very rough. Up until the very last segment, I was behind by almost a full minute. Personal best before. Then the last segment or two was really quick, where time. A lot of these first couple sections were actually pretty good.
And I fear that this is where I currently reside. If reality is rooted in our perception, and you cannot perceive me, do I even exist to you? I'm sure that I do. I mean, you're reading this letter, or at least I hope you are. I'm sorry, but existing in this strange state of impermanence does funny things to you, Hugh. It makes you question what is real.
There you can see the mechanics of changing colors and how all the purple and blue disappear alternatively based on when you switch it and kind of where you are. Anytime you're in the middle of a block or the bricks like that, it won't let you change the colors. So you have to do it strategically so you're not in the middle of it when you're above the blocks. That was actually pretty good for that sec. Be real close. Maybe saved a little bit of time. Lost a little bit of time, but we're still ahead. And anytime that you pick up a new color, the background automatically shifts to that color. But the door at the end of that level, color you just picked up. So a lot of times, if you see someone playing it for the first time, they won't find the door to that room, especially for the light blue, or for the purple color, because the background shifts and don't think of the door being
A man not much older than myself chased after it, catching it on his third or fourth attempt. I remember his gentle smile when he returned it. He started talking, and I was surprised that he had read my work in the university journal. He said he was a professor and that he hoped we could work together someday. It's funny, Hugh, how something so small can change so much. Dr. Gray soon became my assigned mentor, and I can't help but feel he somehow had a hand in it. Our fires burnt brightest when we worked together. It felt like we could achieve anything. We discovered more about colour than I could ever have imagined. We split light, mapped spectrums, we painted, we laughed. We worked long hours, and soon our goal became all-consuming. We were vessels. The work became more important than us, and we knew it.
And typically a playthrough of this game, figure about 4 hours. Learning the puzzle, figuring it out. That's about a typical time. So 1 hour with knowing the puzzles is pretty standard. Have I been doing? Typically you can get that without having to move the blocks. I don't know what has been catching me on that level. I'll have to practice it. There, 'cause I don't know if it's just somehow where I'm approaching the room weird or jumping too early. It's possible that I'm just jumping too early. Because on any of the surfaces, you have just a tiny bit of time after you leave a platform when you can jump. So I'm sure it's to account for any sort of like input lag, where if you're trying to jump on the edge, you get just a little bit of extra time. And there's several rooms where you have to use that. But we take full advantage of that in the speedrun, as you do in a lot of different speedruns. Be pretty decent, as long as I can avoid the boulders in the next room. Shape, actually. So in here, it's just obviously avoiding spikes and boulders. And they keep coming. They're at a pretty regular interval throughout the whole room. And it's always the same colors. Just a matter of knowing what order they come in. That should actually be ahead a little bit. Yeah, I think that's ahead a little bit, so we'll see. Nice. Seconds ahead. That's helpful. It's really quick for the beginning. As I said, the
I don't remember much.
personal best that I had before was
I do know
a lot of
Gray and I
really good times for the beginning of the run.
I
So
would compliment him on his work, and
as long as I can stay close or even ahead, pretty good shape.
he'd notice and change the subject, embarrassed. This work we were doing together, it didn't feel much like work anymore.
So, and it is, right there you can see, it's faster to jump and push these blocks when there's something right above you. Because you get just a little bit more momentum when you're moving. But if you try to do it in spaces like this where there's spikes, or if the ceiling is too far above you, then you don't gain any speed. So there's only certain spots where it's useful, but every little bit counts whenever you can. Right there you can see just how quick how much faster it is to jump push than just regular pushes. This level is really just a big maze. Find the opening colors and switch to the correct color in order to get through the things. So there's quite a few incorrect ones which will push you down into the spikes there. Here you just have to get the blocks out enough because you'll fall right over to the edge there. Push them all back. And you can push colors through each other if you make one disappear. Which will be used quite often, like especially right here. You can push the black one through so that you can get up here. And this is one of the toughest, tightest timing tricks. There, nice. I used to try and do that full speed, and I would get it about 1 out of every 3 times. Ever since I saw other people slowing it down like that, it's much closer to 2 out of every 3 times. So, and a whole lot more consistent that way. which is the most important part. Consistent. Because it saves a lot of time to do the trick. But if you're not consistent, you end up losing time by dying. And that's probably one of the most important rooms, at least early in the run, is where you drop to get the key like that. Actually, last time I think we died in this room, probably right there, which is pretty rare. So there's a decent chance that we can save a good bit of time here. Wanted that to be on the other side, so actually, at least I knew early enough that I would be able to fix it. So this, yeah, we should be able to save some time on this area. We'll see. It's really just last bit here. It jump. There we go. Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of time saved with not dying, and that room was pretty efficient. That last room is really probably one of the biggest trouble areas for me throughout the whole game. There's a lot of times where I'll make little mistakes and they can just compound on themselves. But there's a gold split. Wow.
Did you know, Hugh, that every language first has a word for black,
The big,
for white,
big save there.
dark and for light? The first colour described afterwards is always red. The colour of blood and wine. The colour of anger. The anger I felt when I was told my experiments had gone too far. When Dr. Gray sided with the university, stopping my research altogether. For all our languages, for all our ways to communicate, it's funny how sometimes we simply cannot. It leads people to do things they regret, to steal, to break, to forget what is important.
So, and this is the like central hub cave area. Anytime that you unlock a color and you get brought back to this cave, you just have to find where that color is blocking. That's going to lead you to the next area.
It doesn't take long for it to grow.
Typically every other color that brings you back to that cave.
The seed of knowledge was planted in my mind, and I wasn't prepared to let it wilt and die. The university claimed my experiments were unethical, that altering the fabric of our reality was dangerous. They were unflinching. My research was confiscated and my contract terminated. Following my expulsion, I was left with no choice but to uproot and move us both far away. I knew of a small fishing village a boat ride from the university, where I hoped my reputation wouldn't precede me. You and I moved into a humble home, which is now where you spent most of your childhood.
There, just those little jump pushes can make it just a little bit quicker. You know, it's maybe, probably not even a half a second, but every little bit can be helpful. And you can see that you can use the color wheel to your advantage because it slows down time when you use it. Have it up. And so if you really need a second to think, then sometimes you can gain just that extra half a second or so to get to the right color. That room can be very frustrating because that last skull that drops right about the time that you're going through, and I always forget what color it is. So it's actually quicker for me to stop like that for a second or half second or so. And then not the way I wanted to do it, but it should work. But it's quicker to stop in that room with the skulls than it is to try and jump, and you can either get knocked to the beginning if you hit it just the right way, or you die, and anytime you die you lose 7 seconds and have to go through the level again. It's quicker to get knocked back to the beginning. Not necessarily ideal. This is about 3 seconds quicker to bring the block down and through this skull than it is to go and get the purple block from the top right there. So that saves a little bit of time there, as long as you can get it lined up quickly. There have been times where I just haven't been able to get it lined up. Not far enough over. I don't know why. Pulling it back for me. There we go. That's a bit of a loss in this room. Shouldn't be enough to push us behind what the best is. We won't gain time on the best in this section, I don't think. Yeah, that was a gold split, so. Unless we can really make up time in, I think there's one more room to this section. But even that was pretty efficiently done last time, I believe. Wait a little bit so that you get high and get, especially over that block, so you don't have to jump twice. Figure that guy, and then as soon as this skull starts going back up, then we want to do that. Could have been a little bit tighter there, but there have been enough times where I've made mistakes that kind of nice to cushion sometimes. Yeah, so we'll lose maybe 10 seconds or so. Okay, it's not the end of the world. Means. Lost a little more than I thought. About 20 seconds. Still doing pretty well, and it. Yeah, yellow, we had almost 2 minutes of time lost in this section. There's a lot of time to make up here.
The old tomes that used to sit on my desk. The ancient scriptures of civilizations lost. I spent hours poring over them, searching for clues to support my research. Aside from their wonders, one thing stood out above all else. Blue, or specifically the absence of it. Other colours were detailed at length, but not blue. It was never mentioned at all. The word simply didn't exist. Could they not distinguish blue? Without a word to describe it, how can we be sure they could see it at all?
One. There we go. You can actually jump across between those two. Doesn't always work, so Sometimes it's better just to take a slightly safer route and not try to push it for the little bit of time that you'll save. This room is one of my favorites because it's just, when you do it right, it feels so fast. That was pretty good right there. Here you learn kind of a rule and then you have to do it the opposite way. It's really good for this room actually. Could have been optimized just a little bit, but there's not a whole lot that more that I could have done there. That's annoying. Oh, actually that works. Over here, we can pull it. Here we can just jump and we can get back because the blocks are just lined up. They're close enough where you can just jump from one to the next. And that's how that's done. And then we just have to get through here without dying. Didn't need to jump there, but for some reason tend to do it anyways, so not much you can do about that. Just ended up being a habit along the way. And then just have to remind myself to take my time just a little bit, and we can get to the Thwomp room. Ooh, I thought I was almost gonna switch colors a little bit too quick there, actually. This one is definitely the first time people get to this room, especially. It's always really scary. You've seen Thwomps before this, you just haven't seen them quite to this extent. And it makes you think pretty quickly, especially in this section. It really does just go clockwise and it skips pink every time. That's the main secret to that room, is every time you run into colors it goes clockwise. Skip the pink. That'll be real close to the bit. We'll be quite a ways ahead of the best time. Be a little bit behind the gold split, not by too much. Almost over 2 minutes ahead right now. And it's 9 seconds ahead. That's pretty decent.
Spring was around the corner. Yellow daffodils poked through the dirt in our backyard. As time moved, my resentment slowly slipped away. I continued my research from home. Without Dr. Gray, work was slow, but I still made progress. One day, Hugh, when you were sleeping, I watched over you. I was on the cusp of a breakthrough, and you were the last person left to see it. I was so excited for the both of us.
I don't know why it was grabbing on. That's okay. Got through the.
My research led me to tales of a long-lost civilization. They built great machines, pioneering electricity many years before we discovered it. Strangely, though, this civilization is said to have felt no pain. They knew of pain and observed it, yet could not experience it themselves. Explaining to them the sensation of pain is like me explaining colour to someone that can only see in black and white. I wonder, Hugh, if we will be able to share in our experiences of colour.
There, once you get to the first sections of lasers, you want to go red pretty much for the first 3 rooms. The second room, it doesn't matter which color you go to as long as you change it from the background color. Oop, almost forgot to switch colors there. That was actually really pretty efficient for that room. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. I just have to go blue and orange. This is where you would see the first laser skips, because you can jump through lasers, even this orange one that comes down there, so you don't have to deal with the blocks at all. And it saves a bit of time in this room, but usually I get hung up there quite a bit more because I'm used to doing the laser skips from the other categories. But when you can remember that laser skips, that goes pretty quickly. Ooh, that was a little closer than I would have liked. And then now we just have to wait for this laser to come back down, get to a safe position where it'll be. Bring this one over, and you need the purple block because there's a wall later. Right there is a light blue wall, so if you try to bring the light blue block over, then you can't get that gate open while having the wall disappear. Still a little bit slow. You run right away. I always forget that this room is coming up, but if you run right away, you can skip over that first one there. Go yellow so we don't accidentally jump into that laser. Anytime you die, it costs 7 seconds. And so deaths definitely want to be avoided at all cost. So it's 7 seconds plus whatever time you had already spent in that room to any progress you've made. So, especially some of the longer rooms, you can really lose a lot of time. That one is just really showing you that you can go to the right colors so you don't shoot yourself with a laser. But that last room is showing you just how you can use the blocks, stop it, and these. That was the wrong color. Yeah, that's why. And now we want to go light blue. There we go. But with the little the white lines, which kind of refract the lasers around in order to open up gates and things with them. And there, it's just a matter of remembering the right colors to get rid of in order to get rid of the balloons. Right order. this room is about having patience. And being far enough along that when you get rid of the bricks underneath you, you will land on the blocks that are available on the bottom there. Oh, that'll the next color piece. And we're still gonna be ahead. We might have lost a few seconds. A little bit of time there, but we'll be almost 2 minutes ahead. Minute and 46 ahead. Still really good. Going into some of the harder sections now that we have all the colors.
First time I wore the ring, I could see a coloured image of the sun. Aqua, purple, orange, pink, red, blue, yellow and green. Great fireworks played out across the backdrop to my reality. Was I dreaming? Was I alive? My senses dulled from a lifetime of monotone, struggled with the revelation. Time eased. Colours danced in slow motion, like Pollock painting a ballet on the moon. I removed the ring and time slipped back to normal. Colour dissolved into grey. It was overwhelming. But what followed affected me the most. After seeing in colour for the first time, when everything returned to normal, I could remember in colour. I had never before had a coloured memory.
So, and all the little symbols you see on the colors are actually the game's colorblind mode. I think I'm really one of the only runners that use them. And it's not even that I really need them, it just gives you the slightest extra visual cue. And sometimes the colors can be pretty similar. It can be hard to see, like, the green against the yellow backdrop. Sometimes the pink and purple, pretty similar. Especially when one's on the backdrop of the other one. So I use it just to give me a little bit of extra time. That was closer than I usually like that laser, but it gives you just a little bit of extra time. Think about what you're doing and what color you're trying to get to, and just an extra indicator of what color you need to switch to or which color is coming up ahead. So most people don't use them. I find it's a really cool way of doing a colorblind mode, because, you know, any sort of colorblindness, it really does allow you to be able to play the game when it's a game that's based on colors. So, you know, if you can't see the difference between red and green, at least they've got very different symbols. So you can at least match them up on the color wheel, get where you need to go. Which is, you know, hard to do in a color-based game like this. Pretty impressive. Found a good way to do a colorblind mode like that. Didn't want to jump there because high enough to stop me. And here, this is the only room that we don't go in, because it's just another letter room. So all you're doing is running through it, and saves about 10 seconds. Be a little bit less because I'm up on the bricks, because green instead of but it saves about 10 seconds to go this way and backtrack through the game that we've already gone through than it does to go through that letter room. That is one of my favorite letters, possibly because I don't hear it all the time, especially if on a good run, don't go to it. If, like, when I did a marathon last year, when I was preparing for that, it wasn't close to a personal best, then I would pick up the letter, then go back through. Lost a little bit of time there again. Isn't too big a deal. Some of these, there's a good chance we'll lose some time because they were gold splits are the best that I've done for this category. But we should still, there's a little bit of time that we can save. And really with a minute 32 cushion, as long as everything goes pretty well. Here.
If a tree stands in the woods and nobody's there to see it, does that tree exist? Does it have colour and form? Does it matter? This journey has been difficult, Hugh, and whilst I have trodden a lost, winding path, I feel no closer to the truth I was after, no matter how long you chase the moon. If truth does exist in our minds, then I feel there may be one that I have neglected. All this time, you've been alone, and now uprooted, on a journey for my cause. For what? So that I could see the world a little clearer? I do hope, in the end, it was worth it. For both of us.
That one just introduces us to our next mechanic, which are the spring blocks. Will bounce you up in the air, whether you jump on them or even if you just walk into them, bounce you up. And we will definitely be using that to our advantage. Drop quite a few of the next puzzles. They also change color every time you bounce on them, so they will switch to the next color clockwise around the color wheel. Here, not this one, it's the next puzzle, one of the next puzzles here. We'll have to use that in order to get a laser to go through the rest of us. That's actually a mechanic that is used quite a bit throughout the run. Purple. Go. That was a little bit slow. There were a couple of things I could have done better. Obviously, beginning especially, but not too bad. There you can jump just high enough to get on top of that next platform, off the top of the bump. Little bit too quick. Wasn't a big deal. Nothing really slow us down because of it. So here, the first color you can go to is orange in order to get the go through. There, as you can see, you bounce off from the spring block as soon as you touch it. A little bit risky to do it right away like that and not switch out to a different color, because you can get hit by the laser, but it is quite a bit quicker to do it, especially to do it right away and not have to come back and get it later. We'll need to open this gate with one, and then we need the second block for the gate. Now this room can be very frustrating the first time you do it, because you don't find out that you have to be light blue for every single block until you get high enough to see that block in the middle there. So if you're not light blue, then the lasers can't go all the way through. Distracted, forgot to move. But then the lasers can't go through and open up all the gates. Almost did it again. Alright, so I just have to take a breath and go on. There we go. One more, and there we go. There it is. Then you just have to make sure to switch it before you run into that laser. This one's interesting. It shows you, for one thing, it'll show you that the block comes back. These ones all need to be green, because once we open that top gate, we need to cross. Right? And then here is one of the spots where jump pushing not advantageous at all, because the conveyor pushes the block back quicker than you can move if you on it. This level is one of the biggest time saves for the laser skips, because you can jump through all of those lasers on the bottom, and it can save quite a bit of time. One set up there, so we don't have to come back for it later. Once we get all of these light blue, it'll change the laser colors beneath us. So we can just run through there and push this block over to exit. Now it's just a matter of, the biggest thing is make sure you don't either turn off the bottom too soon or walk into that laser with the light blue, and don't jump into that green one. Wasn't too deaths, or at least death in that one room, lost a lot of time. We can make up a bit of time here. Okay, there's a couple sections up ahead. Was some time lost for sure. Go.
Being back at the university has surfaced many memories, Hugh. I remember taking you to lectures. You would crawl to the front of the hall when I wasn't paying attention. Dr. Gray would look down from his lectern, and all his seriousness and authority would wash away. He would pick you up, walk over, and return you to my arms with a smile. Love cannot be measured, Hugh. Like colour, it exists inside of us. I buried it. I buried the love that I had for my own ends. I hope after all this, you will see my mistakes for what they are. Yours lovingly, Mum.
One of the nice things about the letters in this game, they take up just a little bit of time, gives you just a little bit of break so people can hear the story. Anybody can hear the story, and then it's also an interesting, it's not a normal cinematic type of mechanic, but it lets you keep moving forward while giving you the story, which go to here. It's not too bad. So well, there is that section, so hard to improve one because it's hard. This one I think we lost a little bit of time in. We can't quite get the optimal solution for this room. It only saves a little bit of time. You can skip one of those conveyors if you get it just right. Get the block to fall through just right, and you can get down underneath the conveyors. And pretty quick through the part. Now we get through the rest of it. That's actually pretty good for that room, which can get pretty tricky. I think that's one of the most confusing puzzles, especially the first time you do it. This room has definitely the most back and forth, and some of the hardest laser skips are in this room as well. Almost went too quick there. Could have been pretty bad. Now we have to go light blue, and then we have to switch it out to any other color so we can make that block light blue. Bring this one down so we have both of them. Need to turn the other block purple again. Block the lasers. And now we just gotta get both of them over to the right. Turn them both purple. Purple there so we can push this one through. And then get it over there. This is where the laser skips save the most time in this room, because you can actually skip through both of those lasers. Enough. There is a skip in this room. I've been very inconsistent with it lately, so we're just going to skip doing it, and we should be able to actually save some time on the personal best, because I didn't get it there either. I think I actually died in this room twice on that one, so saves a few seconds. You can do a rounding jump there over that globe. That saved about 37 seconds by not doing it. Probably would have saved 5 to 10 seconds if I had gotten it correctly, but could have lost quite a bit of time dying on it. Now here we need to go to green for all of the blocks. At least green is the first color you can use. Several different colors. As long as the laser can go through. Then any of those colors. But green is the most efficient because you spend the least amount of time on the blocks themselves. Turning this one green so they will stay there once you go, and then laser across. And enough to beat that gate. I do remember actually having some trouble in this room last time. Oh, pretty sure I died to this group because I jumped at one point when I wasn't supposed to. There's a good chance of saving some time on this section as well. Almost thought that was a spring block, which would have been bad because it run right across and ended up falling onto some spikes. This room by far was the longest, or took the longest to learn. Now just to stop there and then get the block far enough so you can get over it over here. Time and then still get those. Not tough once you know it, but it can definitely take some of the longest to learn because it's very tight. Can be very tight time. Now you can switch to any neutral color, and need to get the block over here. Then wait for them to line up enough so that you can jump across. We'll push it over just to make it a little bit easier there. And then just jump our way out of the room. That saved a lot of time there. Going in almost 2 minutes ahead. Just a couple rooms left. Trigger. There we go. Almost messed that up where we would have had to go back down to the bottom, but remember just in time. I think. Now we need to turn them back to their normal colors. Hey Assassino, how are you doing tonight? Technically, it's a weird category. I'm so far the only one who has run this category, so I kind of have a world record. But we're definitely on pace to get new personal best for sure. As long as we can finish out these laps. Well. How are you doing tonight? Doing well? Just got home? Nice. How was your day today? Hopefully school went well. Oh, that was really the hardest part of this room. Now it's just remembering to bring that yellow block with us, then swapping the correct colors at the end. Sometimes this block gets stuck like that, and so you just back pretty well. Yeah, I believe it. I can understand. There we go. That was that room, and then now we just have to... Last time through, I actually almost ran into this globe. Don't know that I've ever gotten that close to the globe before, where I actually had to stop that early. I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign. This is actually different colors than I'm used to. That was bad. That's a little scary. Now we're in the last room. This room takes a lot of concentration. It's by far some of the tightest timings in the whole game. There's a few story rooms after it, but in terms of puzzle rooms, this would be the last one. That's pretty good. I could have gone just a little bit faster there. But I sometimes you get caught underneath one of the thwomps. That's just a bad thing. So yeah, that should be a personal best. Actually, a tiny bit of time that can be saved here because distracted and
Your mother
missed.
tried to warn her.
Like I walked into a wall for a little bit,
Exiling her from the university would protect.
but that's
would protect.
fast.
She did not
I
understand.
wonder if this category could be,
Choose.
I think, done really well. You could do an hour,
He never stole the ring from her here.
which is
Tried to destroy
crazy.
before it destroyed her.
Using the skips, I've only gotten it under an hour,
Now, she had it under control.
maybe 10 times at the most.
She knew what she was doing. My intervention shattered the ring, altering your mother's very fabric. My only reprieve is that you were able to follow in her footsteps, to experience her work firsthand. We do not see things as they are, Hugh. Instead, we see them as we are. Your mother.
Thank you, sir.
waiting for you. I expect she will be thrilled to see how far you've come.
For some reason I thought I had to walk into that room. Now we just have to wait for a little bit until we go back to sleep, and then it'll be the very end of the game on the dream sequence. Be about a minute 3, maybe a little bit under or an hour and 3 minutes. Yeah, right? Thank you for the bits. Yeah, that was just Monday that I got the personal best. So, and tonight I just kind of did it on a whim because I felt
But you cannot
fast on
choose.
Monday, but I knew that there were some sections that needed some work,
Now
so
you can see true colour. You must decide if it is for better.
more jumps, and yeah, it'll be an hour, 2 minutes.
I hope after all this, it is for the better.
There it is, another personal best.